Hey YouTube, Rob here. I'll bring you another video. We must be that time again to do my end of the month DVD Blu-ray update. I'm not actually drinking any alcohol this time. This is actually a coffee. I don't want you guys to think I'm an alcoholic by any means. So I'm just here with my coffee. I'm also here with Wally here in the background. He was in my last update video. He's just back there chilling in my movie collection. But also, I've also got another special guest. Winston here, Wally's little brother, was actually felt a bit left out in my last video. So he's here as well. He's going to join me while I do my movie update. So he can sit up here. Anyway, we'll get on to it. Also here eating M&M's as well, because I'm a big fan of them. And M&M's and coffee go together quite well. So, anyway, we better make a start before this video gets too long. Better stop chewing first, I guess. I've got a few films here, different sort of genres and few things. I actually was planning to do this video, I think, a few weeks ago. So I did sort of watch these movies a few weeks ago, and so I've probably forgotten, you know, what I was going to say about them, but I'm pretty sure I can remember most of the stuff I was going to say. Anyway, I've actually got two Korean films here, first of all, and the first two I'm going to show. First one here is The Yellow Sea, which was actually recommended to me by another YouTuber on here. Topo Kimi, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Not sure. He used to sort of leave a lot of really great comments on my videos, and was a big supporter of my channel. I haven't sort of heard from him for quite a while though. I don't know if he's just not on YouTube anymore, or I don't know, maybe I said something to piss him off, but I've sort of heard from him for quite a while. Anyway, so he actually recommended this one to me, The Yellow Sea. I think it came out in 2003, I think? No, 2010, I think it is. Anyway, this is actually a really good movie. I actually really enjoyed this one. Basically, sort of, the story about this this guy here, and his wife actually sort of goes over, I think it's to North Korea, to try and find work, and she's basically supposed to sort of send money back. But he hasn't sort of heard from her for 6 months, and so he doesn't really quite know what happened to her. And he's sort of been, in the meantime, sort of been doing a lot of gambling, you know, trying to make money, and he hasn't sort of been doing a very good job of it. He's actually in a little bit of debt. He's one of the local sort of mob bosses sort of comes to him and says, well, I'll sort of wipe your debt clean if you go over to North Korea and kill someone for me. Then your slate will sort of be wiped clean. So he sort of thinks, well, I'll sort of kill two birds with one stone, to use a bad pun. He can sort of go and do this job and get his slate clean, and also go and find out what happened to his wife as well at the same time. So he sort of takes the job and sort of goes over and sort of scouts out this guy's house to work out how he's going to kill him. So I think that's sort of the main sort of just the movie. We can sort of guess that it's obviously that doesn't go quite to plan. But as I sort of said before, I actually quite enjoyed this one. I thought it was actually a really good movie. I think I prefer both the first half compared to the second half. The first half's already sort of kind of building up to this, this sort of the killing of this person, and the sort of the setup, I suppose. Once you sort of get to the second half of the film, it does sort of get perhaps a little bit sort of over the top, and perhaps drag on perhaps a little bit, and there's a lot of sort of really nice action scenes, but they're a little bit sort of over the top, and compared to the sort of first half, where I think there are a few action scenes in the first half, but it's kind of sort of low key, not necessarily sort of over the top compared to the sort of the second half. It's also a very, I don't perhaps want to use the word beautiful looking film, because it's actually quite grimy and horrible conditions that he has to sort of he sort of gets smuggled across in this horrible boat, and his accommodation's not necessarily that great while he's over there, sort of thing. It did sort of remind me a lot of Harry Brown, the Michael Caine film, sort of the very sort of gritty and especially the scene where in Paraban where Michael Caine goes to sort of meet the two junkies in their sort of houses, particularly very clean, which did sort of remind me of some of the living conditions that we sort of do see in this movie. But definitely a really good film though, I thought. I actually really enjoyed it. There's actually another film called The Chaser, which I've got in the background there, by the same director. That's supposed to be a lot better than this one. I have sort of read up on this film, and people reckon this sort of film does get sort of mixed reviews. And but I have sort of heard The Chaser is supposed to be the better film. So I haven't watched that one yet, but as you can see, I've bought it, so I'll get around to that eventually. But definitely a good film though. I actually really quite enjoyed this one. Really just a good sort of watch. Very sort of gritty and grimy. So that's the Yellow Sea. Great film. Another Korean film, probably one of the most sort of popular films. That would be the original Old Boy, because I think there was a US remake. This one, obviously, this is the original, the foreign version. So this is obviously the one to watch. I had sort of heard a lot of really great things about it, and that's, you know, kind of why I did sort of pick it up. This is actually the Steelbook edition too, which is actually quite nice. Actually, I might just open it up and give you a squeeze inside. That's what it looks like inside. I think it comes with like a little sort of poster there, which I'll just... I think it's actually a postcard, actually. So that's sort of the one side, and that's the other side where we're sort of eating the live octopus, which is an interesting sort of scene. Take the disc out. I'm not sure I can show this on camera or not. There's a bit of a in-bed scene there. You can't see much, I suppose, though. Yeah, so that's Old Boy. Yeah, it's a film that I have sort of heard, you know, a lot of really great things about. A lot of people were, you know, really sort of highly praising the film. I didn't quite enjoy it that much. I was, I don't know, I think I did sort of like the premise to it. Just, I'm sure a lot of people would already know what it is, but you sort of got this average sort of guy, and one day he gets abducted and sort of gets locked up in this little apartment, I suppose, and he's sort of locked up there for 15 years, and he has sort of no idea why he's there, and you know, all of a sudden he gets released, and so he sort of spends the rest, you know, the next few days trying to work out, you know, who sort of, you know, who locked him up and why, and I guess the film just sort of goes on from there. As if I did sort of quite like the premise to it, and you know, it was sort of quite interesting. I just didn't sort of like the end to it though. I didn't quite like sort of the reasons behind why, you know, this seemingly average guy was locked up. I kind of found it a little bit sort of just over the top and rather sort of weird reason, and also just very sort of I don't know, highly convoluted sort of reason why, and I don't know, I just didn't sort of like, I don't know, I mean, a lot of people, you know, have sort of said that they did actually quite like the film, and you know, that's fine, but for me, I just didn't quite understand maybe the hype for it. And I mean, it was a good film, you know, up to that point, up to the end, which I just didn't like, you know, at all really. I just found it rather sort of just ridiculous and kind of perverted, I suppose, in some ways, if I can sort of use that word. Yeah, so that's Old Boy. Next film is actually sort of a film classic from 1960, nice black and white film with Jack Lemmon, Shirley MacLaine, and Fred McMurray. Sorry. That's the apartment. It's actually a film. Actually, quite enjoyed this one. I thought it was really good. Yeah, it's actually sort of about Jack Lemmon's character, and he's sort of like a young executive, I suppose, and he sort of does he rents out his apartment to some of the sort of the higher up executives, sort of thing. To he sort of gets paid for it, so he does sort of make a bit of money on the side, and but also I think in some ways it's also a way for him to sort of get a bit of a leg up in the company. To you know, they do sort of say, well, you know, if you rent out your room to us, if you sort of rent out your apartment to us, we'll sort of give you a good word to your boss, and you might get a promotion out of it, sort of thing. Basically, sort of use the apartment to sort of for their bit on the side, I suppose, for their mistresses, sort of happily married men, but they sort of do sort of have girlfriends on the side, and they sort of use the the apartment for that reason. They sort of want somewhere quiet to go, sort of thing. It was actually a really good film though. I actually really quite enjoyed it. The first sort of half of the film sort of sometimes a bit of a sort of comedy in some ways, and then but the sort of the second half is a lot more serious, and does sort of deal with a lot of sort of adultery and sort of divorces, and rather sort of there's a lot of sort of serious moments to it, especially sort of in the second half of the film. I don't want to spoil perhaps too much of the storyline to it. So yeah, so that's the apartment. Next film is actually a film that I sort of got out of the $5 bin, just a bit of a sort of random film that I sort of bought because it sort of did sound interesting, and let's have a cameo from a very sort of famous musician. So that's one of the reasons I kind of put it. Called Down and Out with the Dolls. It sort of came out, I think, 2001. It's actually sort of about this sort of all-girl, sort of alternative top band, and they sort of want to make a band and become famous and make a record. I did sort of find the film very interesting to watch though, because it was sort of, as I said, it was sort of made in 2001, but yet it sort of seemed to be sort of like filmed and made perhaps in say the mid-90s or something, because it was kind of shot on video and had a very sort of grainy sort of visual to it, and definitely sort of, for at least for me, it was had a sort of mid sort of 90s sort of music sort of vibe to it, and I don't know if it's, I don't know what whether bands like this do sort of perhaps exist perhaps in the 2000s, but for me it was definitely the type of music and the way it was sort of filmed, like VHS, taped on video type visual to it. It definitely did sort of seem like it was sort of definitely filmed in the 95 or something, in the mid sort of 90s. I actually quite enjoy the film though. It does sort of get terrible reviews online, and I mean some of the acting is not all that great, and but I sort of did sort of find it a sort of fun watch, and there are some sort of fun scenes to it, and just sort of about this sort of all-girl band that sort of wants to make a record, and they sort of decide, well, the best way to sort of do that is to sort of obviously so they can get time to sort of play together and practice, and also to sort of save money. They do sort of sort of rent this house all together, and they all sort of live in this one house, which they call the doll house. You've got the sort of the main singer, which is Fawn is the name of the character, and she's sort of a bitchy sort of leader. She wants to sort of be the leader of the band, and so I think she's only sort of using the other girl to sort of get a bit of a foot up and get her name out there, and so I think she wants to sort of get a career out of it, sort of thing. So she just doesn't necessarily care about the rest of the girls in the band necessarily. Actually, the sort of plays, it was actually she did sort of, I think she just sort of help sort of compose some of the music to the film, and did sort of write some of the songs, and her father in real life actually did a lot. He was actually a composer. I think he sort of helped compose some of the films like RoboCop and Conan the Barbarian, and a few other films I think as well. So I think she's got so she's sort of got, I guess, music in her blood, if I can sort of say that. I think she's got her own band too, and she was also actually had a bit of a cameo in Starship Troopers. If you sort of watch that film, I think she's on stage singing. But definitely this is actually a good sort of fun film, I thought. Also got Lemmy Kilmister. He's he's obviously the lead singer of the band Motorhead, which is probably one of the best rock and roll bands of all time, or heavy metal bands, however you want to class the music, I guess. But definitely a really good film though, I thought. That's Down Out with the Dolls. Another black and white classic film. I think by, I don't want to perhaps sort of say one of the first ever female comedians, but she was definitely one of the most famous, and definitely a pioneer in, I guess, female comedy, I guess. that would be the Long Long Trailer with obviously Lucille Ball and her husband Desi Arnaz. This is a sort of fun sort of film about this newly married couple, and the husband he sort of works on the road and sort of goes to different sort of towns for work, and so they were going to sort of put like a down payment on a house. I think they had like $10,000 or something to put a deposit on a house, but Lucy here decides that it might be a better idea perhaps to buy a trailer, a caravan, because that's going to be, they can sort of buy the whole thing for $10,000 and actually sort of travel for his work, and so they in some ways aren't necessarily going to be separated, which is a good idea in theory, but doesn't necessarily turn out quite the way, because they've obviously got to buy a more powerful car to sort of tow it, and they've got to buy like a tow bowl for it and get all the right equipment and furnished inside the trailer, and it's just become so much perhaps more expensive than they first sort of thought, and so they do sort of go on this sort of venture across America, and sort of nice sort of slapstick sort of humour to it, where the caravan breaks down and things like that sort of thing. Yeah, I thought it was actually really good though, really sort of fun movie, and one of the main reasons that I did sort of buy it was because I sort of remembered sort of one scene from it. It's just, Lucy has the habit of sort of every sort of town that they sort of go to, she sort of collects a rock. So she sort of collects all these rocks from all these places that they've sort of been, and they're rather sort of large sort of rocks too. So they eventually just sort of start to weigh down the trailer, and sort of seen the movie where they've sort of got to climb up this really steep sort of hilly sort of terrain to sort of to get to the next city sort of thing, and he sort of says to her, well, you need to get rid of these rocks because there's no way we're going to make it up this really tight hilly sort of mountain with all these rocks in it. And she says, yeah, sure, I'll get rid of them, but she has sort of too much sentimental value to these rocks, so she does sort of end up sort of hiding them in the caravan, and very sort of tense moments where they're trying to get up this hill and worried they're going to sort of fall off the cliff, type thing. But definitely, a good sort of fun movie, I thought. Good movie that one. So that's the Long Long Trailer, which I think actually was a real name for a trailer. I think the Long Long Trailer. I'm pretty sure that was sort of the actual name for a trailer for it. Anyway, so that's that one. Very good. Final one I'm going to sort of talk about that I have sort of watched. It's actually a film that I got for free. My good friend Kevin on here, Dr. Hustler, he sent me this. I think he sent me like a few films, and this is one of the ones that he sent me. And but I think because I did sort of hear him talking about it in one of his videos, and it did sound really quite interesting, and definitely want to check it out. So that's The Cooler. It's actually a really good movie too, I thought. Which is not surprising, I suppose, because Kevin's got really great taste in movies, I think. But yeah, great movie this one. I actually really enjoyed it. Definitely a bit of a underrated gem, I suppose, if I can sort of say that. Stars William H. Macy and what's her name? Mari Bello, and also Alec Baldwin as well. So just sort of about Macy here, and he's sort of what they call a cooler. So he works in like a casino. If someone's sort of winning, it's like if someone's sort of on a bit of a winning streak in the casino, basically he sort of goes, sort of just has to sort of stand next to them, and because he's sort of like got bad luck in general, he's a very sort of unlucky person. He sort of does sort of pass on that bad luck to the person, and they sort of start to lose, and so that's sort of his job. So, but essentially, what does sort of end up happening? He does sort of end up sort of falling in love with Mary Bello here, and his luck does sort of change. He does end up getting bloody luck, I suppose. But of course, obviously, the owner of the casino doesn't like this. That that now he's got good luck, and he's essentially the casino's losing money now because all these people are in some ways getting good luck now. If he sort of stands next to someone, he's now actually giving them good luck, and they do actually start to win a lot more money. But definitely just a really good film, I thought. A really sort of nice little sort of film. It wasn't sort of over the top blockbuster type movie. It was just a really sort of well written, sort of great acted, very sort of very sort of real film, I suppose. It did sort of remind me in some ways of It reminded me of a few films actually. It reminded me of that film with Nicolas Cage, Leaving Las Vegas. It also reminded me a lot of, well, obviously the movie Casino as well. And also perhaps a bit of Blade Runner in there as well. It did have a bit of a sort of film noir type aspect to it, I thought, as well. But yeah, definitely, I don't know what to sort of say about it exactly, but it's just a really sort of good sort of movie. And but I thought, like, William H. Macy was really great. Maria Bello was really great, and Alec Baldwin was really great performances by them. But definitely, yeah, just a really great film, and I think some of perhaps definitely a underrated movie, I think. So that's the caller. I definitely would recommend that one. It's really good. Okay. I also did sort of pick up a few here that I haven't sort of watched yet. I did sort of find them on really cheap on eBay, so I just sort of picked them up for on a bit of a whim. First one's Slot Night, Deadly Night, 1 and 2, sort of a double pack. I think I have sort of watched the first one. I'm pretty sure I hired it from the video shop like years and years ago, and I can't remember anything about it really, but I think I remember it being alright. I sort of, some nice gore, I think, from memory. So yeah, I don't know. Sure, some people have already seen this one. So definitely give me a comment below. Tell me if it's any good or not. So that's that one. I also picked up one with a really nice slip cover on it. Class of 1984. Just come with a really nice sort of slip to it. Another film I have absolutely no idea what it's about really. I'm not sure if I've seen it. Actually, I might have seen this one maybe. I don't know. Not sure. It was really sort of cheap on eBay, so I did sort of pick it up and yeah, thought it might be alright. That's those two. But also, being a movie collector, we do sort of double dip. Well, I've been doing a little bit of that recently, and some ones I probably shouldn't have done because I don't really need to double dip on some of these movies. But I picked up the French version of Zack Snyder's remake of Dawn of the Dead. It's actually, from what I read on this, well, the seller was sort of selling it, obviously, and saying this is the only uncut version of the film, with a few extra seconds of footage. But I think it also does include an extra interview and a few other sort of special features as well. So it doesn't contain subtitles though, which I was slightly annoyed at, I suppose, because I do like to sort of turn on the subtitles and so I don't sort of miss any of the dialogue. Anyway, that's perhaps the only uncut version of it, the French version. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm pretty sure it's only a few extra seconds anyway. But anyway, it was really reasonably cheap, so I thought I'd pick it up and give it a watch. That's that one. Another film I already own, but this comes with a sort of nice sort of slip cover and a few nice art cards to it. That would be Kick-Ass, which is a really good film, I think. I wasn't just a big fan of the sequel though. A lot of people were, but I actually didn't care for it at all, to be honest. That's probably another review for another day. But definitely the first one's a really great film. I think definitely very sort of fun and has some good scenes to it. So that's Kick-Ass. Another film I already do own. This comes with another slipcover, so I had to buy it. That's Hugo. This is actually this is actually brand new. It was on the feedback. This comes with a slipcover, and this is actually the American release, which I didn't sort of realise when I sort of bought it. So this kind of came in a very sort of thin sort of cases, which to be honest, I'm not really a sort of fan of these thin cases. But I think I much prefer the sort of Region B, Australian, UK sort of releases. So yeah, I probably shouldn't have picked this up. I don't, so I only got it because it's got a slip cover on it, which is, I don't know, I guess in some ways not really that important. But it was another one that was reasonably cheap, so I rebought it. It's a good film though. Here you go. Another film I already do own. That would be Rise of the Planet of the Apes. This comes with another slip cover as well. I think it does come with an extra disc. I think mine, other version, one I've got, only got one disc, and I think this actually does come with sort of film things too. Film, what do you call them? Film negative things. these things, whatever you call them. So I can see that or not, but yeah, that comes with that. And as I said before, you another disc as well. So I guess it was worth picking up, rebuying, just for that. So I'll put that back in. Then finally, probably the best till last, I guess. I did sort of pick up another copy of Pulp Fiction. This is actually like a sort of a special edition, sort of briefcase edition type thing. As you can sort of see there, little sort of, you know, handle and, you know, the locks on it. Now, I think we're going to have to open this up. Yeah, it opens up like that, and nice sort of shiny inside the case, which I think is like in the movie. It sort of has a bit of a shine to it. Comes with a sort of poster here. I think it's just like the film poster to it. And then what else have we got here? Yeah, a booklet as well. So I probably can't really show that very well on camera, but I think it just sort of talks about the film and has a few nice sort of pictures to it. So that's that. And of course you've got the disc there in the bottom. Samuel L. Jackson. Ooh, shiny. So I'll put that back in. I sort of saw this on eBay, and it was like, I sort of saw it and thought, oh, you know, that might be, you know, a bit of a, you know, a rare find, I thought. So I sort of, I think it was reasonably cheap, so I sort of, you know, picked it up, and, oh, you know, I thought that was a great bargain sort of thing. And then I just sort of did a bit of searching on eBay, and there's like, you know, 20 other people are sort of saying the exact same thing, you know, brand new for, you know, not much more money. So yeah, it wasn't necessarily that great of a find as I thought it was going to be, but definitely not a bad looking set though, I thought. Yeah, it does have sort of bubbles there at the top. I don't know if they're supposed to be there or not. Not really sure on that, to be honest, but a bit scuffed I think too there. But anyway, but yeah, but still pretty good edition though. Definitely you know, add to my collection. Right, so that's my update. All the things, well, some of the things I've sort of bought and got around to watching. So thanks for watching. So if you've sort of seen any of these films, you know, certainly leave me a comment, and I love getting comments. Yeah, so that's it though. So for now, thanks for watching, and yeah, bye.